I have been waiting a long time for this one. One of my all-time favorite players has got to be ButAlways. But it is hard to get a hold of replays of this guy. But the Taiwanese Protoss player showed up for Dreamhack, which means I get to cast him. And even better, he's up against his old Zerg rival GogojOey. These guys have had some killer games, and I'm hoping we're gonna get another one today. Now I gotta be honest here. While ButAlways blew me away with his creative play in 2019, in 2020 he was largely just doing stalker all-ins, which was kinda neat, but it got old pretty quick. There's the gate and go for Protoss, because there's no need to hatch block GogojOey. As you may have seen from my recent cast of this guy in his battle against Haas, for some reason he hatch blocks himself. And there we go, Zerg at the triangular third. Our map, by the way, is going to be 2,000 atmospheres, home of some very cool death animations. With these two bloodthirsty opponents, we're sure to see a few. Protoss probe comes to check the extractor pool timing. Intro time, what do you get when you cross a female rock band with the kangaroo? GogojOey!
Current world rank 85.
GogojOey, of course, is the undisputed #1 player from Hong Kong. Nexus before core for ButAlways. No signs of any cheese in our opening. I can't always find replays of our Protoss player in the bottom left, but always will I cast them.
Current world rank 148.
I had to look it up, but ButAlways is a 2014 Chinese-Hong Kong romantic drama film. But it takes place in New York. I guess BA is a fan. Oh, that reminds me, sometimes I call ButAlways BA. It's a bit of a mouthful. Pool completes, hatch completes, it's 2 queens, 4 lings. Core completes, it's a chrono-boosted adept. Got a little ahead of myself there. The rally point is offensive. No warp gate research, no tech choice. Cancel that, we have a Stargate. Ling speed starting up for our Zerg player. So, one of ButAlways' claim to fame, and he has many, let me tell you, is he is the first pro player to ever really try to use flux veins. This was during a time when people considered void rays to be unplayable. Man, how things have changed. Okay, so GogojOey gets that third base down, puts it at his natural. Warp gate research finally starting up for Protoss. The adept makes its way up to the triangular third, walks on to creep. There's only 2 lings to protect the drones, but there's also a queen. No drone kills. The adept shades to the natural, where there's really nothing right now. There's a queen guarding the ramp. BA's gonna go up anyway. There's a pair of lings to support the queen. The adept has an escape shade. And BA did tag a ling for the first blood before teleporting away. Not a lot of scouting information, but an acceptable night at the office. It's gonna be a void ray coming out of that Stargate, by the way. The Protoss wall is not yet tight, but as soon as I say that, BA works in a gateway to fill the gap. I like how he slipped his shade in right before the gateway goes down, so his adept can get back inside. All these elaborate things that Protoss has to do because they just haven't invented the door yet. They must really envy the Terrans. Okay, Void Ray reveals itself by getting a kill on that Overlord. Whereas most animations die upwards, Overlords inexplicably die downwards. It's probably something to do with the way their strange body gases interact with water on this alien planet. And that would be an early fleet beacon, people. And that is how we're gonna kick this game off and put it in the interesting category. I knew we'd get there. A pair of spores going up for GogojOey in response. He's also getting his lair tech. He scouts, he reacts. It is the essence of Zerg. No, not that kind of essence, Abathor. A zealot warping in to deal with a ling incursion. Ling speed is done, but that should still be more than enough. Oh, I see. The real reason he wants a zealot is to add some muscle when he goes to expand to a third base. Oh, that Overlord kill is going to supply block GogojOey. He's going to put a Roach Warren down, but if he saw that BA was building carriers, that might not be his first choice. Yes, it is going to be early game carriers. Fortunately, because he saw the Void Ray, GogojOey never really stopped making queens. It's double Stargate, double carriers. And And as it stands right now, ButAlways has not only the worker lead, but a sizable army lead. The good news for Zerg is the Overlord gets the scout. We'll see how Zerg further reacts. So far, all he's done is add an Evo chamber. There it is, Spire goes down. Have to have it, that Roach Warren was not gonna cut it. The first floating triangle of death is on its way. It's gonna kill that scouting Overlord. There's that response Spire. Remember though, it takes 71 seconds to make one of those. The Interceptors, doing their best impression of a mosquito swarm. And now BA's gonna start researching +1 air attack. GogojOey scouts the third base, but the carrier's gonna support the ground force and Zerg's not gonna be able to do any damage. Oh, she's a thing of beauty. Honestly, the only thing cooler than a carrier is perhaps an exploding carrier. And if we're lucky, we'll get to see a few of those tonight. Oh, that's a proxy pylon going down. It's just past the halfway mark on the map. I don't really get how that fits in, unless it's like a forward battery station. Yeah, that's what it is. We've seen Protoss do this where they make a fallback point for their void race. I've never seen it done with carriers, but why not? The principle's exactly the same. Oh, the Queens are just getting free shots at those interceptors there. Oh, you know what I missed? GogojOey canceled his Roach Warren. Probably to get the money to build the Spire. And he's just remaking it now. That way he has a Spire up quicker. What a great reaction by a Zerg player. There's enough Queens to deal with these carriers right now. But will there be once you add in those shield batteries? GogojOey is not panicking. He's actually adding a fourth. You know you're calm, cool, and collected when there's carriers on your doorstep, and your instincts are, time to expand. That takes stones. And now he's bringing up his spores. Spore forest in under 7 minutes. You don't get to see that too often. But his real response, of course, is that he's making 9 corruptors. +1 air is gonna finish for Protoss, and it's just now starting up for Zerg. BA really wants those rocks dead. Since he's only got air units, you gotta wonder why. Right now, the rocks are only helping him, but it could be that he's got plans to mix in some ground units. The very first corruptors that pop, GogojOey still has to gather them together, though. The last thing he wants is to have to face that interceptor swarm one at a time. More shield batteries. BA's really gonna commit to this forward position. And just to make me happy, he's researching flux veins. Just like old times, buddy. Just like old times. So it's not going to be all carriers. He's mixing in void rays. I still don't quite get his obsession with trying to clear out those rocks, though. GogojOey making Queens 3 at a time to try to keep up. He's transfusing his corruptors in the field. If you ask me, though, he wants more spores. Well, nobody did ask me, but since I'm the only guy talking, I guess it doesn't matter. Just a fun fact about spores that a lot of people aren't aware of. Spores actually do double damage against biological units. That is not going to be a factor in this matchup. But just for comparison, a Spore's DPS is about double that of a Queen. And that's without the bonus damage. A reason why GogojOey might be going easy on the Spores, though, is that in his back pocket, ButAlways has the ability to make Tempests. And they can outrange the Spores while sitting on the shield batteries. In fact, that's actually something that BA should really think about mixing in at this point. But what he's really doing is he's focusing on getting his void ray count. He wants to make sure he has enough in case the corruptors charge in, which at some point they're gonna do, so he wants to make sure he has enough anti-armor attack. And that's exactly what those void rays are giving him, especially since he now has flux veins. What we actually need for this matchup is some kind of meter that tracks the total amount of shield battery energy available and then compares it to the total amount of transfuse energy available to the Queens. Because right now, this kind of looks like what it's coming down to. Who's going to run out of that critical energy first? Possibly no one. Because GogojOey keeps making more Queens, and BA is non-stop adding those shield batteries. Zerg is up 16 workers. GogojOey is pulling in more minerals, which is a good thing, because right now, BA's been pretty efficient. A lot of dead Zerg. And fun fact, BA hasn't lost a probe yet. Oh, Protoss has graduated to quadruple Stargate. And oh man, does he want those rocks dead. Is that like a secondary objective that he gets bonus points for? Because I still do not quite see the strategic value. As best I can tell, it's protecting the cannons from the Queens. I love how the corruptors are all facing backwards. If I refuse to look at the Protoss, I can pretend he's not actually camping outside my base. I could pretend that he doesn't have that all-important +2 air attack. There are a few lings on the map. Maybe what GogojOey really wants to do is step that up. He wants to stop Protoss from going even with him. Locating that pylon is a good start, but the Adept is going to take care of that ling. Just over 300 hit points on the rocks, and they are gone in a flash. ButAlways has achieved his lifelong ambition. Sure, he graduated from university in Australia. Sure, he completed a tour of military service in Taiwan. But when he dies, his tombstone will say, "I killed those dang rocks on 2000 atmosphere." So now he's adding in sentries and using force fields. The force fields are keeping the queens back while he inches forward with new shield batteries. This is an almost Terran-esque siege he's got going on here. I think GogojOey is interested in stopping the Protoss third. He's making a bunch of lings and he's getting roach speed. But at the same time, he's pretty much maxing out on corruptors. He's keeping up on those, which is good because they are dying in droves. Joey is just mining a lot more than the Protoss right now. He can afford those losses. For a time anyway. Eventually those losses catch up to him. Or if Zerg fails to keep up with his expansions, eventually that economy collapses. Both our players are getting their +3 air attack, but it's Zerg that's going to finish first. GogojOey started from behind, but he's vaulted to the front. There's that Protoss fourth, and here comes the Floodlings. They force the cancel, and they're going to get a couple of probes as a bonus. Oh man, I don't want to harp on this, but I really do think that Protoss needs a Tempest. I get that he's got to keep up with the Void Ray to keep matching the Corrupted. If he just had a couple in there, he would enjoy that range advantage. GogojOey taking a 5th base. If the Zerg wants to win the range battle, he needs to find a way to get his hive tech and then get into Vipers and use the Abducts with a range of 9. Oh, that is so much firepower by both players. Big time drop in supply there by the Zerg. Protoss took hits as well, but it was all shield battery depletion. That's playing right into ButAlways' game plan. And if he keeps adding shield batteries, he's going to be able to rotate through them. So there's always at least one that has a full charge available. But with battles of that size, it's going to take a lot more shield batteries to achieve that. Protoss still trying for that 4th base. Zerg still keeping an eye on it. GogojOey's remaking his lings for another run by. Oh yeah, you can really see how our red Zerg is out-resourcing the Protoss right now. That's only sustainable as long as ButAlways continues to be ultra-efficient. I mean, he's efficient, but is he ultra-efficient? This kind of sounds like a commercial. Sure, your Void Rays are efficient, but could they be ultra-efficient? Well, we'll see how this siege goes. It's nothing if not interesting. I'm not so sure that GogojOey actually needs to break it. He just needs to slow it down and keep expanding. And this is what ButAlways wants. Voids versus Corrupted. As long as he has somewhere in the ballpark of even numbers, he's gonna do pretty well. Oh, GogojOey running low on queens there. He's got replacements on the way, but you can only make them so fast. Oh, ButAlways is having his 4th base taken out again. He's winning these battles, but he's at risk of losing the war. GogojOey's mining double the amount of minerals as of right now. I keep saying that's not sustainable, but BA's been doing it for about 5-6 minutes now, successfully somehow. The total number of dead Corruptors so far? It's 40. But with the income disparity right now, GogojOey can afford that. He's playing the 4th base denial game, and he's playing it well. Eventually, BA's gonna mine out. Zerg just remaxed again. Well, that was before this clash happened. Holy smokes. This is a testament to GogojOey's macro. His units are evaporating, but his supply is barely dropping. He seems to be easily able to remake those Corruptors. I'm a bit more concerned about the queens. You know what? I'm going to throw this out there and you can all laugh at me. But this action in the center of the map, as insane as it is almost in a way a bit of a sideshow. The real drama is going to be whether ButAlways can get up an expansion or not. He either has to find a way to secure that 4th, or he's got to get himself a ninja expand. Now, of course, as soon as I say that, ButAlways shows, nope, I'm going to win this thing. He's clearing out the spores. He's determined to make it happen. Forget getting a Nexus. I'm going to put more shield batteries in the center of the map. GogojOey's going to get +1 air armor. And at that point, he's effectively tied up on upgrades. Sentries versus spores. The Lings might have something to say about that. Oh no, they don't. Force fields for the win. I gotta say, I know this is something of a Mexican standoff here, but it's been a pretty cool one. GogojOey's trying to remake his spores, ButAlways is gonna try to put down his fourth again, same location. It's another naked expand though. Are those lings gonna head over there and shut it down? Or is GogojOey distracted because he's losing ground in the center of the map? I think he knows where the real game is. He does not have to win the center, he only needs to slow it down. Though I guess as an addendum to that, at some point he's gonna need to get himself another base. But the good news there is his opponent really isn't scouting base locations and doing anything to stop him. BA's got a clear strategy and he's sticking with it. He's been attacking the center of the map for about 10 minutes straight. Oh yeah, the lings are gonna arrive before those cannons can finish. Is there enough clock power to get them down? Zealots warp in. Are they the difference maker? Lings gotta get through those cannons. Oh, an actual Void Ray shows up too. All the Void Rays show up. He's gonna save his base. A shiny new pyramid arrives. ButAlways has a nexus. If he holds that, this game changes. Protoss has been dying in slow motion for the last several minutes, but he just built himself a lifeline. GogojOey sees a chance to hit those Void Rays when they're not on top of the shield batteries. A good call, but he did not have enough. You know what I really like is that ButAlways has added in just a few stalkers. They're actually pretty decent against corruptors. Like Void Rays, they do bonus damage against armor, which corruptors are. And of course, corruptors can't really attack the ground and you can't get better defense than that. I say kind of, because corruptors do have that caustic spray ability, but that only permits them to attack structures, not units. That'd actually be pretty crazy if caustic spray worked on units. I think suddenly corruptors would become way too awesome. They'd be like really cheap battle cruisers. Okay, so Protoss is still getting outmined, but he's not mining out. Unable to stop Protoss's new base, Zerg has decided to take a new one of his own in the bottom right. And since GogojOey couldn't stop the Protoss fourth, now he's keeping an eye on that fifth base location. In theory, that strategy should work just as well. Void Rays are very social creatures. They like to get together and gossip sometimes. How do air units not crash into each other? No, I'm wrong. GogojOey's not done going after that fourth. He's just done doing it with lings alone. He's adding in roaches now. He's gonna up his firepower, but always is gonna have to pull back his Void Rays again if he wants to save his base. Maybe not. He's kept a couple back. Is it enough? He's rallying the one that he most recently produced, and he is going to hold. That's going to even briefly give him a supply lead. I should also mention that both of our players are going with less worker counts than we typically see in a pro game, and that's why they have such titanic armies. Oh, sweet move by GogojOey. He catches the base defenders while they try to link up to the main force. Single Void Rays off his shield batteries can be one shot, ButAlways responds with a sweet move of his own. He uses sentry force fields to lock out the queens and he gets himself a hatch. Now, 18 minutes into the game, that hatch is no longer a significant priority. That hatch was largely mined out. Remember, that was GogojOey's unnatural natural. He started that hatch 43 seconds into the game. That now feels like a lifetime ago. You know what, there's a bit of an irony here. ButAlways worked so hard to get rid of the rocks on that ramp, and now his shield batteries are pretty much serving the same obstructive function. The ramp is kind of half choked off in exactly the same way. GogojOey got his bottom right expand up. He's not actually mining from it yet. He's just using it for larvae, trying to keep his corruptor count repeatedly replenished. He's making them 10 at a time right now and he remaxes. ButAlways is also maxed out. Zerg is even showing signs of starting to build a bank. I didn't think he would because of the rate of corruptor death, but he's mining so much, I guess he just might. And speaking of mass carnage, I do believe we're about to hit 500. That takes us to the Crimson Zone. A PvZ Crimson Zone game without banelings. A truly unspeakable number of corruptors have died. I'm really gonna have to hunt up that number for us after. Anyways, what I was trying to say before we hit this benchmark of awesomeness. Oh, ButAlways is gonna expand again. He's ignoring the expansion location in the bottom center, and instead he's expanding aggressively close to the Zerg. I'd love to know the thought process there. Perhaps he's going for the surprise value. GogojOey shouldn't expect that. Or is the idea that it's closer to his Void Rays so it'll be easier for him to defend it? And the Void Rays can always kind of pop over and take advantage of the shield battery, because goodness knows they don't have enough in the center of the map. This game just gets twistier and twistier. But what I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted for the second time is that Protoss really needs an observer in there. He can't inch forward anymore if he doesn't pare back the creep, and he keeps venturing on it. Oh, big time drone Maynard by GogojOey. He can't make new drones at the bottom right, so he's just gonna send some of his old ones. And he's even taking a further expansion. And as we hit the 20-minute mark, both our players start going after the more obscure upgrades as they try to find something, anything that can help them get an edge. Ah, Vipers are here. That's a problem for the Protoss. There's always something unsettling about watching consume. The Zerg cannibalizing its own structures. Protoss is getting that expensive +1 shields upgrade. That of course affects air and ground, so it helps everything ButAlways has in his army. It even helps the probes. GogojOey is getting his +3 air attack, finishing off that long-term goal. But he's also upgrading his Zerglings, getting +1 ground melee attack. And here's Zerg's newest base. ButAlways doesn't have vision of this, but I'm sure he suspects. You can't be remaxing with corruptors like that without the money coming in from somewhere. Though they are pretty cheap for so-called capital ships. 150 minerals, 100 gas. GogojOey with another expansion. We're hitting a split map scenario here. Well, there's still a few holes, but it's really starting to feel like that. Back in 2020, I actually cast a split map game between these exact two players on Golden Wall. It was actually a really good game. And, spoiler alert, there were corruptors and void rays in that one too. Oh, caustic spray, this is gonna be so quick. That is 44 corruptors spraying at once. If the damage lasts more than 4 seconds, it kicks up to 35 damage per second, and it is just unreal. ButAlways says, hey, if your corruptors are busy, that means I get to attack your queens. But he is not able to get anything done with that window. That Nexus kill was insane. Remember, the thing was ringed with shield batteries, and it still went down like a house of cards. Oh, pathogen glands. GogojOey's gonna add in infestors. He really hasn't made big use of his Vipers yet. He's also adding an Ultralisk cavern. I don't know if he actually plans on using it or it's just one of those things where you always gotta have it. Mass Void Ray is pretty good against Ultras, but Ultras are pretty good at ripping down static defense. Maybe that's what he's after. Wow, GogojOey has lost 10,000 more resources than ButAlways. But since he's been out-mining the Protoss by 1,000 minerals per minute for about 10 minutes, it's kind of weirdly a wash. Ling run by on that top left. GogojOey's researching adrenal glands for his Zergling. Doesn't quite have it just yet. ButAlways gets off a battery overcharge. I think that gets him the hold. Lings go at the overcharged shield. He kills it. But now the Lings are gone and there's not enough roaches. Wow, we got ourselves a Crimson Zone game, and there's only 10 dead workers. You really gotta respect when the players follow the Geneva Convention and leave the civilians out of it. That's class, people. With the Void Rays out of position, the Queens thought they could deal with those shield batteries, but no such luck there. And in response, GogojOey is gonna make an Ultralisk, and he's gonna get the chitinous plating upgrade. I think he plans to rush some cannons. His issue though is he's completely maxed out. He's gonna have to lighten his corruptor count if he wants to get serious about Ultralisks. And I'm always serious about Ultralisks. They are not a laughing matter. Adrenal glands about to finish? At that point the world becomes unsafe for photon cannons. ButAlways has got himself a battle duck and he's researching Storm. Both of our players are looking to give their opponent a new look. Don't want to be caught with yesterday's fashions. But at the same time, your basic Void Ray Corruptor never goes out of style. It's okay to chase trends, but don't forget the classics. There's that Ultra on the field. He doesn't quite have those killer armor upgrades just yet. But he's lining up with the Cracklings, preparing to take a run at those photon cannons. Meanwhile, since GogojOey's remain maxed, his bank is actually hitting 2,000. ButAlways double expanding. And right on the Zerg side of the map too. That could be significant if we start getting to a dry map scenario. Both our players have mined out 3 bases each at this point. Well, there goes one of the Protoss expansions. Oh, here we go. Void Ray versus Ultralisk. This is why I don't do laser hair removal. Come on, guys, that's not very sporting. And this is only a small chunk of BA's Void Ray force. The bulk of them are still at the center position. So that really caused GogojOey's supply to drop. We'll have to see how he fills it back up. Oh, big swarms on those queens. That was like an electricity bath there. ButAlways is gonna order himself some more High Templars. He was happy with how that went. Okay, it's gonna be Infestors. GogojOey's gonna remax using Infestors. And he's researching Neural Parasite for them. Ultralisk speed completes. And it looks like ButAlways' expansion's actually gonna finish. That's the one he's got in Zerg territory. Oh, surprise attack in the bottom left. There's only spine crawlers for defense, no spores. And that's a real loss for GogojOey. That was a fully saturated base with lots of minerals. For the first time in ages, Protoss is outmining the Zerg. That sudden little raid there just changed the dynamic of the game. GogojOey going for revenge with his cracklings. There's only a single cannon there and he's gonna take it down. From there, the Lings are gonna head on into the main and see what damage they can do. Void Rays coming to intercept. GogojOey can shut down a lot of gates if he targets some selective pylons here. The Cyber Core is saved, but it's unpowered. Research stops. ButAlways is maxed out, so the temporary loss of some of his production facilities is not too huge a deal. It's probably more frustrating that he's losing valuable upgrade time. Wow, the battle in the center of the map is looking very different these days. Storms and Archons leading the charge. It makes good sense. Archons can really benefit from shield batteries. They are largely just a big bag of shields. GogojOey's economy has really plummeted. He's really had to cut into his bank. And at this point, ButAlways has the bigger bank. Oh, but look at this Neural Parasite. This is how Zerg starts acting with efficiency. Those Archons have their rights violated and they do not have recourse to a court of law. That means ButAlways finally has some cap space himself. He's gonna use it to rotate back to carriers. I feel like we're going full circle here. That's what he started with. You know what they say? Make carriers every 20 minutes. And he's finally gonna make that Tempest. Oh, GogojOey's going back to finish off that Cyber Core. He can shut down that +3 air armor upgrade. Oh, Void Rays say no to that. That was some serious Ling evaporation. But the Void Rays are out of position. The Corruptors are looking to pounce. Void Rays are not on top of shield batteries. But if they want to pick that fight, they gotta find the Void Rays first. GogojOey's looking to put an end to his long-distance mining. But I don't know if that hatch is gonna appear in time to save that bleeding spore. Unless an Overseer poops creep on it, I think it's gonna die. GogojOey's also adding an additional hatch. He is just out of money. The good news for him is he can probably get by on cheap cracklings for a little bit. And that will not break the bank. Just a moment of silence for that poor spore that died alone, unattended. Moment of silence. You got the wrong video for that. The Tempest is out. We'll see if it changes the dynamic like I'd hoped. I mean, it's just one, and it doesn't have Tectonic Destabilizer upgrade yet. But Protoss has been hurting for range for a long time. Zerg's newest expansion is completely naked, and it looks like GogojOey's gonna get away with it. Viper Abducts, there it is. Feedbacks and retaliation. I've been waiting for the Abduct. GogojOey is so good at it. BA really needs to get the Abducts on the Infestors, because the fungal growth is a real risk. Just one can hit the entire fleet, and that's what happened. I mean, a single fungal growth doesn't actually do that much damage, but it slows the Void Rays down, the spores get extra hits on them, and then the Infestors start chaining the fungals. It can be game-ending, so at this point, I think BA has to be almost managing the Infestor energy. And that means he has to keep making more High Templars so he's got feedback available to him. A High Templar warps in with 50 energy, which is enough to cast a single feedback. It's not enough to cast a storm. For that you need 75 and the Protoss player has to wait 25 seconds. There actually used to be an upgrade called Caldarian Amulet. It let you warp in Templar with 75 starting energy. That was considered OP, so it was removed. I had actually bought my girlfriend at the time a Caldarian Amulet, and so when Blizzard removed the upgrade, I had to ask for it back. It was very embarrassing. Looking back on it now, I think I can kind of see why that relationship ended. ButAlways is making a robo. Can you believe it? He's actually almost gone a half an hour without a robo. How is the creep not all over the map? I guess the answer to that is if you've got your photon cannons in that forward position, They act as substitute creep tumor detectors. Even still, though, as the game wears on, all of Zerg's important bases are actually now in the right side of the map and near the bottom. His tech's all up at the north, but his economy's all at the south. So I can kind of see why he's repositioning his forces over to the side here. He can't afford to let the Void Rays have another lightning raid on his core hatches, the ones that are actually producing. But what that's going to do is it's going to make it easier for the Void Rays to streak north. Much of what they're going to find up there is pretty meaningless, but if they can get at the tech, that's a different story. And speaking of tech, GogojOey's adding the Broodlords. Cocooning now for our amusement. You see that little blue pod or cage underneath the Broodlords there? I'm not sure what you call them, but if you zoom in on them, there's not just fish inside. There's some kind of Easter egg where once in a blue moon, there's a creature inside. It looks like a cross between a smiling panda bear and a fish. I don't know what it's called and I don't know the trick to finding it. But if you happen to know, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, this is exactly the kind of mystery that I will probably wring out my hair trying to get to the bottom of. The more ridiculously unimportant it is, the more likely I will not rest till I find the solution. Now, I said the Tempest would be a game changer, but it's more likely that the Broodlords will be. They are really going to put a strain on that shield battery energy. And the energy of the High Templar as well, it would seem. ButAlways might want to get his hands on more Tempests. Maybe try to zone the Broodlords back. GogojOey's going to add one last Broodlord to max out his supply. When you pass that half-hour mark, mine-out map scenarios become very real, and the efficiency of Broodlords can be a big deal for the Zerg player. And speaking of efficiency, how about those neural parasites? It's always embarrassing to tell your friends that you've picked up a parasite, but try telling them that it was neural. After that, you just don't get invited back to the pub. There, see, look at the role that Tempest plays. It's forcing everything back. GogojOey just needs to get an abduct on that one single Tempest, and at that point, BA's in even more trouble. ButAlways actually making it an observer, and slowly adding to his carrier count. The weird thing here is that Void Rays are actually really good against Broodlords, and ButAlways has a ton of them. He just can't bring them to bear right now, because if he messes up, the infestors are going to get him. And I think ButAlways has to be aware that he's just one fungal chain away from losing this game. If he wanted my feedback, I would tell him feedback. I think that's his most important spell right now. Sweet abduct on a Void Ray there. ButAlways has a healthy 7,000 mineral bank though. He seems content to fill up the space by adding more carriers. GogojOey's economy is largely repaired at this point. It's not what it once was, but it's no longer abysmal. What? Is BA abandoning his shield battery position? I think he's in retreat here. Corruptors are going after the Void Rays, and there's nothing to stop the Broodlords now. After 32 minutes, ButAlways is on the run. That Ultralist is like, finally, I've been waiting so long to do this. ButAlways changes his mind, he's coming back. I do not know what happened there, but he got spooked. I'm just not sure there's a safer place for his army than on top of those shield batteries. He might have been trying to pull back to defend his most recent nexus in the bottom center. That's going to be a tricky one because it's right next door to the Zerg. But regardless, it's goodbye shield batteries. Where does the game go from here? Both players are still maxed with huge banks, but you kind of gotta like GogojOey's position. He's got the ability to do the famed Zerg remax. I guess the problem for him is compositionally, Void Rays still kill everything he's got. Okay, so here we go. ButAlways is sneaking his Void Rays up the left center. This hatch hasn't really produced in a long time. GogojOey's not really gonna miss it. But it is pretty cool how fast those Void Rays can bring it down. ButAlways may be reducing his Void Ray count, but he's still got 28 of them. That's a lot of DPS when BA hits that prismatic alignment key. Oh, he just split his Void Rays, half going south to defend, half going north to attack. That's always a risk. It's an opportunity for Zerg to divide and conquer. The positive, of course, being that you can hit in two places at once. Oh, I love this art. A drone trying to put down a hatch where there's a nexus. I think we can safely say that GogojOey knows about that expansion now. So it looks like bottom center is going to be the new shield battery dump. This one focused more on defense than attack. But the problem for Protoss should be the same. GogojOey is going to have his Broodlords. The carrier contingent's going to join the Void Rays to the south. But what is Team North going to do? It's largely undefended up there. He could maybe go after the Zerg's Greater Spire and shut down future Broodlord production. But if Zerg just starts making redundant tech structures elsewhere on the map where his corruptors are, it kind of becomes meaningless. GogojOey's got the bank to remake all of his tech. Oh, Void Ray's getting on the broods. Where are the infestors? Queen's transfusing the broodlords to save them. There's that fungal, ButAlways heart has to skip a beat. And then GogojOey gets a neural parasite on a carrier. Its interceptors turn traitor and attack the Void Rays. And I think that illustrates the core dynamic between the players right now. ButAlways needs to find a way to kill those broodlords without exposing his Void Rays. Oh nice, Team North gets the snipe on the Greater Spire. And now they're going after the Hive tech. That is the fastest horror hive I think I've ever seen. Kills the spawning pool for good measure. Here come the corruptors, they outnumber the voids. And it's a recall for the save. The funny thing is that GogojOey actually got supply blocked by that. You know, it's been an intense game when after 35 minutes Zerg still has an opportunity to get ahead on their overlords. Okay, so spawning pool's getting remade. If I'm right, it's going to be somewhere on the bottom right. GogojOey now has an opportunity to try to rebuild his tech in a more defensible location. It's going to be right center. Talk about your glass half full. Well, the bad news is you lost 4 tech structures. The good news is you have an opportunity to put them in a new, better place. I think I'll have a second career as a life coach for Zerg. Turn that frown upside down, guys. I mean, this year is kind of win-win for Zerg. If BA ignores the broodlords, they're going to tear up his base. But if he engages, he risks getting nailed by the infestors. I think that takes us back to the High Templar and the feedbacks. He's got to somehow lead with the Templar. Hey Templar, you mind heading up towards those broodlords there? Yes. Void Ray is gonna try to take a poke, but the fungal growth volley is there. What a game. Double maxed out players in a stalemate with 8 grand banks apiece. It does seem to be advantage Zerg though. It's GogojOey that's forcing the action. Would that be the case, though, if Protoss had more Tempests? I'd like to see that. As it stands, what I'm probably gonna get to see instead is a laser light show here. Oh yeah, the carriers are departing. BA's gonna concede the base. This is gonna be a pretty nice trophy for the Zerg. There's a lot of minerals there for the taking. ButAlways swings his army north, and the Nexus goes boom. GogojOey's really getting value for those broodlords. He is catching up on resources lost. That does not bode well for the Protoss. BA is sojourning to the middle of the map. Is that a pylon being made in the map center? Is he actually going to think about rebuilding that center position of his? I think he needs Jean-Luc Picard to give him a pep talk here. The line must be drawn here. Oh, maybe you heard that. He's coming back. It's a little late to save the base, though. But it's not too late for vengeance. He can go after the broodlords. But the spores delay him, and that means the infestors can get here. ButAlways pulls back again, and Zerg is gonna claim that base for Spain. Or for Hong Kong, or for Kerrigan, or for something. With this, the final base, the final frontier on the map, I think Zerg is gonna get ahead on income once again. I think it's also important psychologically. That patch is the most valuable piece of real estate in the game. Oh yeah, ButAlways really is going to try to remake something in the center of the map again. I think he's going to seriously rebuild his shield batteries. He's got the money to do it. It just seems weird to surrender the location, allow the batteries to be all destroyed, and then buy completely new ones. But who can gaze into the mind and madness of ButAlways? On the plus side, he's far away from the infestors. That's what he really wants. You would think that killing stray overlords doesn't matter a whole lot at the 40-minute mark of the game, but GogojOey doesn't really have that too many extra. He's only got 21 overlords, which is 168 supply. The rest comes from his hatcheries. Oh, there goes the Roach Warren. Not too sure GogojOey's gonna miss it. It doesn't form a huge part of his plans at this point. But it is drawing Zerg's forces north. GogojOey's gonna rely on spores to defend his new glamorous piece of real estate. It is the boardwalk in Park Place of this Monopoly map. Though the hardcore Monopoly nerds will tell you that Boardwalk actually only ranks 16th in terms of frequency of traffic. It's actually the orange and red properties, the ones around the free parking, that are the real steals. Oh, ButAlways recalled his forces back to the bottom. It was a trick, a feint. Well, I'm talking about Monopoly. Zerg is pulled out of position and Protoss gets a chance to strike. Will he actually get the hatch though? Yes, he does. And then he bugs out like he was never there before the infestors can arrive. As cool as that was though, it was a lot of effort just to kill a hatch that Zerg can easily remake. GogojOey's mineral bank is about to hit 10 grand. I'm trying to think what's the highest I've ever seen in a pro game. This has got to be up there. Meanwhile, GogojOey's getting to work remaking his hive. That's happening in the right center. That's where he put his spawning pool. I think we need to get a shot of that. Yeah, it is. So I thought ButAlways was going to get ground down and inevitably lose this, but he's just kind of shown that he's got a weapon left. He can sort of act like a ninja and recall his way around the board. So now I'm kind of back at square zero. I don't know how this game goes. Oh no, it's probe suicide. ButAlways isn't going to bother with mining anymore. He wants the cap space, he wants the supply available to him. Loyal probes give their lives so that Protoss can make 4 more carriers. Yet another soulless corporation treating its retiring employees like dirt. Forget about getting a watch, just be happy you're not sent to the cracklings. Oh, I would have been so happy if they would have got that spore. Oh, it is off the creep, it could still die. No, the hatch is right about to complete. It's gonna be saved. Oh, and the queen transfuses it too. Oh, those poor probes, they don't even get a legacy. And now the crackling's slipping into the natural once again. There's 3 photons this time. They've been meaning to kill that cybercore for so long. But at this point, it has no more upgrades to give. And it's not like Protoss is making a lot of stalkers these days. Oh, one Ling survived. Oh, he missed one Zergling and it got the core. He's got to go back and get it. Somebody in the Protoss Navy's getting fired over that. You had one job, to kill the Zerglings that couldn't actually fight back. Hey, the carrier count is up to 18. There's actually more carriers than Void Rays right now. BA's been slowly working to shift his composition in that direction for the last several minutes. He's maxed out, but with only 11 probes. GogojOey's only got 24 work. He's not remaxing because he wants more air units. And of course, he has to rebuild his Spire first before he can do that. So for the short term, Protoss actually has a pretty nice army advantage. He might want to commit to a trade here. Or he could just make a really big carrier flower. Alright boys, everybody huddle up, huddle up. Pay attention now, here's the game plan. Air units always look to me like they're plotting strategy when they do that. ButAlways remaking his cyber core. Notice that he no longer has any new gas coming in. And his gas bank is not that big. So if he loses his fleet, I think that's it for him. He can't remax. Contrast that to GogojOey, who has enough gas to make 75 more corruptors. Yeah, gas in bank might be one of the most important stats in the game right now. Oh, terrific feedbacks on those infestors. That was feedback with great detail, not just generic compliments and criticisms. I think the infestors are going to take that feedback and really take the time to learn and grow from it. All kidding aside, that's something he's going to have to do if he's going to survive, because it's the fungals that can really hurt him here. BA is going to retreat back to his forward shield battery array, though it's a lot less impressive looking than the one he used to have. Okay, so there's a lot more worker death than there was before, but a lot of that is suicidal probes. But really, I just wanted to check the total body count, because this game has all the workings of a potential double Crimson Zone. I mean, at some point, one of these players has to lose a giant army, and that's got to put us over. Vipers cannibalizing for energy, they have not been as big a factor in this game as I thought they would. It's really been GogojOey's infestors that have impressed. There's that remade cyber core. GogojOey's been supply bot for a while now. I'm not sure he cares all that much, but it's about to get worse because BA has repeated his recall maneuver and he's gonna kill a hatch. Down goes Boardwalk for the 3rd time. It's been a Nexus once and a hatch twice, and now it's no man's land once again. I really like the way that ButAlways is working to outmaneuver GogojOey here. You don't think of the Golden Armada as being that mobile. Yeah, GogojOey totally has the money to unsupply block himself, but he doesn't really care. Or perhaps at this point he's just too exhausted to appreciate his problem. He's using up some of the very last of his drones to make additional spores. Both our players are barely mining at this point. Not as big a problem for our Zerg. That is a lot of yellow scalene triangles for the Protoss army. They are fully loaded with interceptors. Oh, here we go. GogojOey's making overlords and additional hatches. He's gonna unsupply block himself. No sense in going into the final battle with anything less than 200. I think GogojOey gets himself back to full strength, and then he goes back to trying to force the issue with his broodlords again. ButAlways clearly doesn't want the big fight. He wants to dance around his snipe hatcheries. Well, maybe he's prepared to have that fight, but he only wants to have it if it's on shield batteries. And Zerg is not going to agree to that. Another hatch bites the dust, and GogojOey's supply blocked again. How are those interceptors not smashing into each other? There is not physically enough space for them to all to operate. ButAlways keeps remaking his observers. He went like 20 minutes without any, but now they're essential. I think the reason is, oh, that carrier kill just took us to 999. When he kills an observer, that's 1,000. I'll celebrate that. This has been a titan of a game. GogojOey remaking his Greater Spire. BA going back to Void Rays. He's making 5 of them. And he's remaking that observer. I was trying to say, I think the reason why he's doing that is he wants to clear out the creep tumors just to limit the Zerg's vision. He's dancing his army around, and he really wants to keep GogojOey guessing where his army is. So it's funny how he didn't seem to want an observer for the first 20 minutes of the game, and now he needs them all the time. Okay, BA has stopped mining entirely, and he's remaxing on Void Rays. Could it be the case that he's got the 5,000 mile stare? Is our Protoss player thinking about ending this? Is the endless reservoir of patience exhausted? BA seems to have landed on a composition of half Void Ray, half carrier, and then 3 Templar for the feedbacks. GogojOey with 45 Corruptors backed by 13 Infestors and 5 Vipers. He's adding more Infestors. I think the reality is just that Protoss is not going to have enough energy to feed back all those Infestors. That means if there's a big class, Protoss is going to have the unenviable job of trying to dodge those fungals. Or he's got to find a way to get the Infestors out of position or hit them first. Neither of which sounds like it'll be easy to do. GogojOey's making a single force the issue broodlord. Their compositions look decided. The upgrades are in place. The only key variable left really is position. Feedbacks on the Vipers. Queens respond with immediate transfuse. I thought that was gonna be it, but the players are still dancing. GogojOey's gotta take his Vipers back and do some consume. There are 5 broodlords available. GogojOey wants to use them to pick off the High Templar if he can. Excuse me, what is this? BA's making another Nexus? That's the Zerg Triangular Third. There's less than 400 minerals there. It must be to set up a battery overcharge. Protoss is gonna snipe the Zerg Hive for the 2nd time and the spawning pool. And kill an Overlord just to make sure he supply blocked the Zerg enough. GogojOey's converting some of his last remaining drones into spores. And then he's gonna make a round of Overlords to get himself out of that supply cap yet again. Zerg is actually kinda low on structures. It's not inconceivable that he could be eliminated that way, but the 15 spores could make it a tall order. ButAlways maxing back out, adding that final Void Ray. Though I've probably said that about 7 times now. GogojOey's broodlord's making a move. That Nexus is actually gonna get up. Maybe he's actually hoping to mine some gas. I thought it was for a battery overcharge, but why else would he put it there? GogojOey maxes out yet again, his final unit being another Infestor. Oh, never mind, broodlord's coming back home. Yeah, ButAlways is gonna warp in a simulator. He's going for gas. He's gonna mine it with one of his 2 remaining probes. Those changelings are gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, what? I don't think BA is gonna be fooled by these zealots running around. He hasn't made a zealot in ages. GogojOey's no longer mining gas, by the way. Just a little bit of minerals with his last 10 workers. ButAlways APM is really slowed down. He's below 200. He's either in waiting mode or he's truly exhausted. Oh, Storm on the Corruptors, gonna send a few of them into the yellow. I almost feel like he needs to save every joule of energy for the feedbacks. But I guess if you weaken the Corruptors, GogojOey has to pull back and heal, which buys you more time, so your Templar rejuvenate more energy. And there is the Protoss gas mining operation at the 50-minute mark. 1 probe, 1 assimilator. Well, I can't wait to see how this plays out. So often in the current meta when we have this max out type battle, it's Protoss that has the upper hand. The Void Rays match up so well against the Corruptors. and the carriers just bring an incredible amount of DPS. Here though, we see that ButAlways has no remax potential while GogojOey might. We know he's got the minerals and gas for it, it's just a question of whether he has the larva and he can group his units together in time. So you gotta think it's advantage Zerg, but I think it's sufficiently close that it's just gonna come down to who has better control. GogojOey is sitting on a lot more spellcasters. If he can bring enough of them to bear, that gives him an edge. If he can't, that's a liability. Broodlords start ripping down the warp gates at the natural. I think GogojOey's calling BA out. I don't think he cares whether the gates fall or not. He's just telling the Protoss, here I am, come and get me. ButAlways doesn't seem willing to answer the call. He's like, please accept my invitation to battle next to my shield batteries. Not much left of the Zerg main there. We are at the 50-minute mark now, people. Oh, fungal hits. Second, chain fungal. Storm goes off. Third fungal. Oh, this could be it. Storms go down. Void rays on the corruptors. Zerg supplies falling. The corruptors are getting chewed up, but there are spores able to shoot here. It's gonna be now or never for the infestors. Fungal growth, dead center. They don't stack, but they can overlap. But now it's neural parasites everywhere. Still, the Zerg army's down to half. The void rays are almost gone, and there's not a lot of interceptors available. Who's got this? This could be for all the marbles. There are so many spores contributing to this fight. Another fungal growth hits the entire army. So many of the carriers are working for the Zerg right now. ButAlways is trying to flee. The corruptors are giving chase. And now the Protoss supply falls below the Zerg. It's a recall. The corruptors use that window to do damage. And the Protoss army supply is down to 49. 43. ButAlways APM falls off a cliff because it's GG. GogojOey wins an epic 50-minute battle over a split map. Holy Hannah! Okay, so if I didn't get my analysis of this game in within the 50 minutes that the game was going on, I don't deserve the time to get it in now. But since this game came down to the final 30 seconds, I feel as though you deserve the chance to see those key 30 seconds once more in slow motion. So ButAlways is just trying to prune a creep tumor and he accidentally triggers the battle. A big portion of his army gets fungled. That means their speed is reduced so the corruptors can pounce. ButAlways makes a split-second decision to defend his trapped units. He drops storms and he sends his void rays at the corruptors. Meanwhile, the broodlings kill everything on the ground. No more Templar. So one of the biggest swing factors from here on out is that all spellcasting is being done by GogojOey. Prismatic alignment gets turned on, you get those double-sized beams from those void rays. And now they're doing a killer amount of damage to those corruptors. The Zerg supply starts to fall. GogojOey pulls back, but always pursues. And now he's fighting in spore colony territory. There's at least 4 of them in range. But at this point, the infestors still haven't been brought to bear. Prismatic alignment comes off of cooldown, and it's Mega Blaster time once more. You really see the Zerg collapse here. Protoss is up around 50 on army supply. The corruptors have gone from 45 to 24. But then the neural parasites come in. And you see the void rays stop shooting the corruptors and shooting the Protoss units instead. And it just starts to snowball. ButAlways isn't moving his army, they're stationary targets. And just about every infestor is going to get a tendril in there. Now I'm going to speed this up because this goes on for a little bit. But then eventually what happens is ButAlways starts targeting the infestors with his carriers. And GogojOey responds with fungals. The carriers are packed up and the fungals are going to hit just about everything in his army. Meanwhile, the spores are really thinning out the interceptors. At this point, there's like 1.5 interceptor per carrier. GogojOey then tabs over to his queens and he spams every little bit of transfuse energy he has left. You'll see this big orange glow. Contrast that with the blue glow, which would be exploding carriers. And now there's only 1 void ray left, so the corruptors are going to go nuts. This is when you get that snowball effect and the Protoss army supply is just going to start dropping. ButAlways is in full flight, and then he's going to try a recall and he's just going to lose even more units. Well, shake the cobwebs out of your head because I dare you to follow me to game 2, because we're going to do this. Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
If you're still here with me after that cerebral marathon, I salute you. You are a true SC2 fan. But we didn't get this far to only get this far. This is a best of 3 and we're gonna do it. And let me just say, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you along for the ride. Where can our players go from here? I think ButAlways is showing signs of mental exhaustion. I think the endurance factors with GogojOey. He's been on bigger stages and more often, and that's an advantage at this point. I mean, just look at the confidence with which he hatched that second Overlord. No hesitation, that's the way you do it on Lightshade. It's a gate and go for our Protoss player. And here comes the self-blocking hatch. He does this on Lightshade as well. If you caught the game where GogojOey played on Lightshade against Haas that I cast recently, you've already heard me complain about how open this location is, on the low ground no less. But apparently there's no stopping him, and ButAlways needs every advantage he can get. The probe is gonna see it, but the hatch does not see the probe. Oh, and that's important because he's putting down a pylon. We're looking for a forge to see if this is a cannon rush. There is a forge. We've seen GogojOey defend cannon rushes by canceling, but this time he doesn't see the pylon. Oh look, a pylon block in the natural. ButAlways is gonna sell it by doing a second kind of cheese. I think that's a fake cheese to deflect attention from his real one. He's gonna cancel the pylon in the natural. GogojOey's hatch cannot see that pylon, but his Overlord in the natural does see that pylon and further sees that it wasn't canceled. 4 drones dispatched to deal with it. Oh, is he gonna lead the drones to the real danger? No, the drones pull back. Cannon goes down, 2 cannons. GogojOey does not know he needs to cancel here. Seriously, this is really cool. I wasn't expecting to have anything good after game 1. And then another cannon at the natural. Big drone pull for GogojOey. Oh my god, I've totally missed my intros, but who cares? Is this actually a double cannon rush, or is this a fake? I can't tell anymore. Either way, that should be enough drones to take it down. There's the cancel. 5 drones are going to return. The rest are going to go to work on that pylon. And Shazam! Just as the hatch pops, so do the cannons. ButAlways has timed this out perfectly. GogojOey is going to try to squeeze out a queen before he loses the hatch. He's gone for 2 queens, 4 lanes. I'm not sure what that poor Maynarding drone thinks he's doing, though. He's just going to become our first blood. First blood before intros. This is so wrong. Or is it just a sign of a truly unconventional game? It looks like the Lings are going to try to counter. ButAlways got a Cyber Core up and got an Adept out, but he's sending it across the map. The Queen took some hits from that Photon Cannon, but she's just barely going to get away. Maybe the Adept can finish it off. The Queen stops to put out a Creep Tumor, and that's going to be a fatal mistake. Or was it deliberate because she knows he's going to die? Queen dies. Hatch dies. The opening could not go better for BA, but he's gonna need to drone block his wall. He cancels his Stargate and uses the money to put in a pylon. That was so clutch. I admit it, I was wrong. BA is not exhausted. The dude has clearly got another game in him. The Adept chases off the Lings, he cancels the pylon to get his money back, and then he rebuilds the Stargate. The Adept is now gonna act as the door guard. GogojOey did get a Roach Warren out though, and he's got some roaches on the way. But if that's a Void Ray coming out of that Stargate, I don't know. There's kind of a funny irony here though, guys. ButAlways Cannon Rush has forced GogojOey to put his hatch at his natural like a proper Zerg player. It's for your own good, GogojOey. You need to learn how it's done. This is kind of like Protoss reverse hatch blocking. See, I knew there was a reason I love ButAlways. He is the most honorable of all Protoss. Okay, I really want to do the intros, but I feel like there could be a Roach Rush coming here. Or an Adept snipe. Adept shades it in the main, doesn't care that there's a queen there. GogojOey gets a save with a Spore conversion. But the Adept does get 1 drone. She also got a drone pull, and she escaped. ButAlways is on fire, he's got the lead. He's leading by 8 workers. And the only reason he's down on army supplies is because his opponent is making roaches. Which are being changed into Ravagers, by the way. That's gonna let him finally clear those Photon Cannons. Wow, Warp Gate research only halfway done. Void Ray almost out. GogojOey goes for the lateral third for his next expansion. It's just over a minute late, which isn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. GogojOey definitely showed us in game 1 that he has the superior macro. And maybe, just maybe, he can macro his way out of this. He is down an Overlord, though. The Void Ray gets the perching Overlord, his initial entitlement kill, if you will. Ravagers get revenge by killing the Adept. There's been a bounty on her head for a long time. Those defenseless cannons are gonna get a lesson in immobility. Unless that Void Ray shows up in time. Ravagers double bile. The cannons can take the hit. There's shield batteries being built behind them. I'm a little bit fearful, though. If this turns into another forward shield battery play by ButAlways, I'm not so sure my butt can take another 50 minutes. There's probably a ButAlways square derriere joke in there somewhere, but it's not coming to me. But the point is, there's a risk this actually stabilizes from here. You would think it would be different this time, because GogojOey just doesn't have the queens that he had in Game 1. There we go, ButAlways leapfrogging his shield batteries forward. GogojOey knows how he wants to respond. He's making triple queens. ButAlways can only make one Void Ray at a time. We'll have to keep an eye on the economies. They're equal on minerals, but what's happened is GogojOey has taken all of his drones off of gas. He needs all those minerals to buy queens. They're 150 bucks a piece. Wow, look at the unit lost efficiency for ButAlways. GogojOey's lost more than double. But now Zerg has the Transfusion Brigade and Ravagers. He really didn't have that going for him last time. ButAlways starts +1 air attack, and he's adding a second Stargate. He's gotta have that sickly feeling like his window is slipping away. But hey, as my grandfather always said, there's no problem that can't be solved by more shield batteries. There's that second Stargate coming in. I love how GogojOey still isn't wasting any money on gas. Spores don't need gas, queens don't need gas, I don't need gas. Talk to me about gas when these Void Rays are dealt with. But for all the compliments I'm throwing GogojOey here, he still hasn't actually killed a Void Ray. ButAlways takes a third. Recall how much he struggled with that in Game 1. This time he's gonna make sure to take care of business at home. GogojOey supply blocked again. That's gotta give you some deja vu from Game 1. Can Zerg spare the minerals, though, to get some lings cobbled together to try to shut down that third base expansion? Okay, this is interesting. Twilight Council for ButAlways. That's a puzzle piece that doesn't look like it fits. Void Ray switching it up, making a dive for the main. There's a spore there, though. Did you know that because of the spore's faster attack speed, it actually has a higher DPS than the photon cannon? Both the photon and the spore, though, get crushed by the missile turret. Okay, you know what? I gotta do the intros or they're never gonna happen. So just pretend our players are locked in a stalemate, because they kinda are for the moment. We'll do them fast. In the top left, our beloved Protoss player goes by the initials BA because he's ButAlways! And in the bottom right, we have green light, friend superstar, GogojOey! And while I'm doing my late intro, of course stuff happens. GogojOey's getting blink and +1 ground attack. I think he's faking that he's duplicating his strategy from Game 1. And it's kinda real, because he's gone double Stargate. But he's really gonna tech switch to a ground assault. Possibly even with the Dark Shrine that he's just added. Now, GogojOey's been so busy cranking out queens here that he doesn't actually have lair tech. And so unbeknownst to him, a clock has just started, though he does get some detection from the spore. So this second team of Void Rays, sneaking around the top side of the map, kills some drones and supply blocks GogojOey ever so briefly. Look at this gateway explosion. ButAlways is going up to 6 gates and his Stargates have stopped producing for a while. GogojOey has not slowed down the queen production, though in his defense, they're pretty good regardless. Oh, GogojOey starts a lair. Oh, he needed that. He has zero vision of the Protoss main, but he did it anyway. I mean, there's a dozen reasons why you want lair tech, but one of them is to help defend against DTs. GogojOey might be noticing that the Void Ray count looks pretty low, and it hasn't been because he's been killing them. At this point, he should have enough queens to make life rough for those Void Rays. A Ling's gonna scout the third. He's gotta be thinking, hold on now, you got a lot of money, what are you spending it on? Well, the answer includes a Robo and Zealot charge. GogojOey gets himself Ling speed. It doesn't usually take Zerg to the 9-minute mark to get Ling speed, but I guess that's what happens when you take all your drones off of your extractors. ButAlways is accumulating money here. I think he might be warping in a big ground army pretty soon. He just doesn't have the supply room. He's warping in more pylons. Oh, GogojOey's gonna expand in the top right. Or he was, that got shot down pretty quick. BA's 3 Void Rays to the north are still making pests of themselves. If nothing else, they're stretching the Zerg defense. They have to be careful though, they don't have that shield battery relay to fall back on. GogojOey remakes his 4th, ButAlways also puts down a 4th. And here's that ground army. It's gonna be Stalkers, though there is a battle duct being made behind it. These Ravagers think they're clearing out an abandoned relay, and look what comes! This was a very cool transition. Quick response by GogojOey. He immediately makes 9 roaches. BA's gonna have a teeny window to do damage. He decides to go for the natural hatch. He's gonna get it. It's gonna cost him Stalkers as GogojOey gets free hits in. A blink up into the main, gonna assassinate a queen. But there is nowhere to run. You can blink, but you can't hide. Oh, unless you recall. That's awesome. Somehow there was only 2 stragglers. The recall radius isn't that big anymore. It got patched to make it smaller, and it's hard to pack everybody in there. So much for the Stalkers who drew the short straws there. But that set GogojOey back. His mining is crap right now. GogojOey may not be done. He's getting himself a fleet beacon. I'm looking for DTs, I don't see them. GogojOey is getting +2 attack. GogojOey trying to get that roach speed. He's also looking for an infestation pit and a Baneling. He is behind on tech, struggling to stay alive since the beginning of this game. But he's got the army to deal with these Stalkers. They may be mobile, they may pack a punch, but they still blow apart. Meanwhile, it looks like ButAlways has grouped his 2 teams of Void Rays together. The Stalkers are commanding all the attention right now. It's a backdoor snipe on the main. Oh, he could shut down the roach speed there. Oh, he's actually going for the hatch. He's gonna try to drill through the lair. The Stalkers are gonna try to fight this. Oh, this is wild. There's very little defense at the main. Just spores, and the Void Rays are trying to soak the hits. He's gonna get the lair. Question, did GogojOey make any Overseers before he lost his lair? I think I'm supposed to answer these questions, not raise them. It looks like he didn't. I don't know if there's a DT follow-up here or not, but if there is, GogojOey's only got spores. Suddenly it's not clear if Zerg has enough army to hold off those Stalkers. Oh, if he doesn't, he will. GogojOey's adding a huge round of roaches. Oh, 5 DTs getting warped in. It's happening. Yes, roaches coming in from everywhere. The Zerg is about to get bigger. And somehow he's doing this even though he's long distance mining from like everywhere. There's that shrine, a monument to all things of cheese. So this time I think it's the Stalker's turn to be the distraction force. He's gonna try to lure the Zerg south. The DTs are gonna hit the north. There's no spores there. The drones get cleared up like a hot knife through butter. And the boys in blue go to work on the hatch. GogojOey tries to put down a spore, but the DTs depart. That supply blocks the Zerg. GogojOey immediately trying to rebuild that hatch. Meanwhile, the Stalkers have blinked up into the main and they own Zerg's ramp. Nope, they're gonna give away title. They're blinking out of there. There's just too many Ravagers to go toe to toe. ButAlways is just everywhere. Yet it's the Zerg who's ahead on supply and on army. Not so on upgrades though. Protoss is getting +3 attack. Zerg still on +1. Oh, we have a clash. BA blinks away to avoid the biles. I love how GogojOey's able to spread them out. That could have been a lot worse for BA. I think the Ravagers have to be careful here though. If the Stalkers are going to make a stand next to the shield battery, he's in a bad spot. Whoops, the reason the Zerg's looking thin is because he split his army. It was a pincer maneuver and it was a good one. Now it's ButAlways' turn to be supply block. Oh, and he took a bile right on the chin there. In the background, ButAlways is changing his composition yet again. He's going for carriers, adding an additional Stargate. But while he does that, he still tries to squeeze every inch of utility out of his Stalkers. I gotta say, I've really enjoyed this game. I feel like I'm looking at creativity versus defensive macro. GogojOey is getting Overlord speed, probably to stop his Overlords from constantly getting sniped. Though maybe he finally wants to get a look at the Protoss main. He hasn't seen it yet. Oh, there's an Overseer. GogojOey remade his lair at his lateral third. Uncloaked DTs do not want to go toe-to-toe with the roaches. Yeah, they just get cleaned right up. An Archon merge is not going to stop that steamroll of death. Ugh, and the Stalkers are caught off blink cooldown. Oh, I think they're about to get wiped out. Their forces were split by the rocks. Oh, but always blinking away just in time. That could have been so much worse. And I think we're about to observe Zerg finally get some offense. But always is kind of caught in the middle of making a mothership and some carriers. His first two are out. Is that enough DPS to slow this down? Oh, he doesn't dodge the bile. Now there's definitely not enough DPS, and the Protoss third is in threat. Forget threat, that's going to be a laser light shield. Probes get pulled, shield batteries vanish, it's just too much Zerg. And GogojOey's following this up with his Spire. He's going to get ready for the carriers. And now it's ButAlways' turn to get supply built. Actually, they both are, because the Stalkers are countering. Drones are dying in droves at the natural. The Queens are cornered. This is getting a little bit base racy. We got simultaneous attacks, but two more carriers pop out. The Zerg supply is falling. The Spire is still not done. The Queens are wiped out. GogojOey rushing home to defend. There's already 22 dead drones. The Zerg economy falls off a cliff. Is GogojOey going to be able to make an air force by the time those carriers arrive? Meanwhile, the Stalkers continue to find damage wherever they can. Cheap Zealots rushing the third. They're going to see that that Spire is done. Only one Corruptor being made. GogojOey's having troubles getting the money. His main hatch is destroyed yet again. The Stalkers are going to get pinned, though. Do they have another recall in them? Yes, they do. Oh, there was a beautiful bile in the center, though. Very few Stalkers made it out. And look, I think BA's trying to show off that he expanded to the bottom left there. DT's back in action, killing the top right. It looks like it's the same 5 DTs, but it's not. The original team was wiped out. GogojOey is broke, but he has cobbled together enough to get 6 Corruptors. The mothership is out. Both our players hurting bad in this thriller of a game. DT's running home. The Zerg is coming. The Zerg is coming. But the carriers are massed together and they are cloaked. That is a rough force for the air challenge Zerg. Where are the Corruptors? Only 3 so far. He needed those grouped together. Big time clash. The DTs morph into Archons. They soak the hits while the carriers go to work. The Corruptors are vulnerable to the Stalkers. More Archons reinforcing from the back. Big time vials. Time warp goes off, reducing the attack and movement speeds of the Zerg. This time it's the Zerg army that's collapsing. GG! Oh, I love that game. Seriously, I think this is my favorite game in months. I think this game was a testament to how good GogojOey's macro is. I think most normal Zerg would just be wrecked by this. This was just one clever assassination attempt after another. I'm actually kind of tempted to watch this game again. But really at this point, I think we need to see what happens in Game 3. It's time to decide this thing. Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
Alright, I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna grow as a person. And I now know with these guys, I gotta do the intros right away. In the top right, our Zerg player macros like a beast and stays cool under pressure. He is GogojOey! His Protoss opponent in the bottom left is nothing less than the legend himself. He is ButAlways! Will GogojOey rethink his self-hatch blocking ways? It's a gate and go for Protoss. It is a bit of an advantage to the Protoss to be able to keep their probe mining longer before they have to scout. And they get the desired hatch block result anyway. Yep, there he goes. It's going to be the lateral third this time. Probably the better of the 2 bad choices he could make on Jagannatha. Slightly early extractor there for Zerg, just a few seconds. We'll see if that actually means anything. The pool seems to be coming later, or at least at the normal time. Yeah, it's kind of extractor early, pool late. Anyway, I'm kind of annoyed that we have to settle this with a Game 3. GogojOey deserves the win for coming out on top of that 50-minute slugfest in Game 1. He should get out of his group just for that. And then ButAlways deserves a trophy just for bringing us that Game 2. That was fantastic. But of course it will really be Game 3 that decides our match. And given that we've been blessed with 2 great games already, there's at least an even chance that this one will be a total dog. I can see the fates doing that just to spite me. Alright, Nexus before core, no surprises there. And we'll need that hatching core to complete before we can see if there's any deviation from our previous games. Right now the players are busy punishing me for doing early intros. Alright, so the very unnatural natural's about to pop. An eggplant geyser reaching for the sky. What exactly happens to the scorpion-like creature swimming inside it? Does he become the first larva that spawns? Regardless, it's 2 queens, 4 lings, and a slightly early ling speed. And in contrast, the core has completed. We've got a chrono-boosted adept on the way. And BA's gonna go for a Stargate for 3 games in a row. At least 2-to-1 odds that we'll see a Void Ray. Oh, we have a probe auditioning for the role of First Blood. And nope, the lings decide the probe doesn't deserve a callback. No, I am wrong. That probe really wants to be famous. He's gonna spot the Zerg timing at the 3rd, the natural. That's gonna go down in all its goopy glory. As we know, aliens always prefer to spawn on top of concentric circles. It's been a thing ever since 1951, or should I say Area 51. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the Adept Scout has so much room to maneuver with no real significant base in the middle at this point. The Queen's camping the ramp though, so the Adept's gonna take some hits. The Safety Shade rifles back while the Adept goes for a little look-see. Maybe tags a ling, that's gonna be a First Blood, yeah, I think so. But the Adept, no, the Adept got away. Safety Shade for the win. Seatbelts and Safety Shades. 2 things you gotta have. And Void Rays apparently. BA's going for Void Rays 3 games in a row. GogojOey's droning up like a crazy person. Crazy like a fox, because he can totally get away with it at this point in the game. Apologies if I told you this already, but ButAlways has already completed his military service and his college education, and he's still playing at a pretty elite pro level. I think that speaks to the dude's raw intelligence and ability. Okay, so GogojOey has himself a bit of a map presence, but he doesn't have a scout yet. I suppose he's just deduced there's a Stargate. ButAlways preparing to set up that 3rd base. For at the edge of space and time, there is the warp. Sorry, I've obviously been doing this a little bit too long. Nothing but drones for GogojOey still. Okay, here comes another spore. I thought he'd be cleaning up though. He is not. He is starting up a lair though. He wasn't able to get lair tech in game 2, and that really hurt him when it counted. Do we have time to celebrate a beautiful opening warp gate ceremony? No, not really. There's a Void Ray on the move. He's sneaking around the back of the lateral 3rd. Spore's not done, so there's just 2 queens. ButAlways isn't going to battle the queens. He's going to trade his shields for drones, and then he's going to get out of there. It's not such a good trade if you die. The end result is our players are tied on workers, which is kind of typical around this timestamp. There's that lair, the beating heart of the Zerg strategy. Oh, ButAlways putting down 2 Stargates. He's going up to 3. This might be his fastest SkyToss commitment yet. But GogojOey has got to be expecting that forward shield battery array again. He's going to want his lings sweeping the area, and he's definitely going to want to take the watchtower. Behold the Stargate as the mighty Protoss incorporate yet another movie franchise. I wish I could do movie trailer voice. Oh, it's possible GogojOey's predicting a glaive rush. He gets the Roach Warren and sets up a blocking point at his natural. But you and I can plainly see there is no Twilight Council. Part of the problem is ButAlways is only showing a single Void Ray. He's got 3, but he's got them quite spread out. GogojOey decides to put all of his larvae and minerals into another round of drones. He's making 10. As the queens are killing this adept, they have to be making note of its slower attack speed. Here we go. His curiosity piqued, GogojOey morphs an Overseer and dives in. The Overseer will die, but not before it sees the triple Stargate. Let's see how he reacts. It's been corruptors pretty much every game so far. The jig is up. You Void Rays are allowed to clump up now. Freedom of association. The Void Rays can get together. Their time of social distancing is over. But I mean, they could at least wear the masks. I mean, props to the Dark Templar. They were covering up long before COVID. There we go. GogojOey puts down a spire. And there's the Twilight Council for ButAlways. I think he's saying, now that you've scouted me, I'm going to go a different way. The other thing to keep an eye on here is that GogojOey hit 72 drones, but he hasn't taken a 4th. That could be a sign of a timing attack from our Zerg player. Thus far in this series, though, Zerg has not been aggressive in the early game. 5 Void Rays making a play for the main base. They kill a spore. Do they have enough muscle to power through these queens? That's not the plan. BA wants to snipe the spawning pool. He's gonna get it, but it's gonna take the force right out of his attack. No more Zerglings for GogojOey, but he was saving his money for a big round of Corruptors. And that fourth base. Look who's also taking a fourth. Protoss, keeping pace with the Zerg expansions. GogojOey rebuilding that spawning pool, but the real story is that his spire's about to complete. Hey there, Zealots. Those lings are temporarily irreplaceable. It takes 46 seconds to make one of those pools. Oh, there's the spire, and he's not making Corruptors, he's making Mutas. That's gonna give this game a very different look. Okay, it took 7 minutes for me to get into this game, but I'm stoked now. Void Ray versus Muta. That's our air battle. Both our players are working on +1 air attack right now. But ButAlways is eyeing a ground transition. He's adding 6 gates, +1 attack, and Zealot leg upgrade. And a Robo, and of course a Battle Duck. He's completely flipping the switch. This strategy really had the potential to mess with GogojOey if he went for Corruptors. He could have been eaten alive by Stalkers or Zealots, for example. But since he's going Mutas, it's not so clear. We're just gonna have to see how this plays out. One of the problems for Zerg is that since Protoss already has 3 Stargates, it wouldn't be too difficult for ButAlways to transition to, say, into Phoenix. And if he gets the range upgrade, then Mutas are really disadvantaged. But ButAlways does not have a fleet beacon, so he can't research that. So the Muta pack is out, and it is getting bigger. This is a big-time Muta commitment for GogojOey. Meanwhile, he takes the 5th. He refuses to give testimony in open court. Sorry, that's my Starcraft legal joke. I realize I'm the only one who actually thinks that's funny. The Muta's stabbed right for the heart. He's going for the main. The photon cannons are gonna melt to this. ButAlways immediately making Phoenix. This is shock and awe. Probe pull happens, but the defensive warping is gonna get decimated. And the fleeing probes are getting cut up. The Void Rays are here. There's gonna be enough of them to chase away the Mutas. Oh, and then ButAlways cancels his additional gates. He wants to grab more money for those Phoenix. I thought it was gonna be the Zerg who was gonna get caught with his pants down, but it was the other way around. Here's the Protoss counterattack, but it's not enough. The Queens are in position and they should be able to chase it off. Oh, doubly so because the Mutas come back to defend. There's the recall. 2 Archons get out alive. But if I'm being totally honest, they were never actually called the first time. Alright, so BA managed to kill 10 drones. That helped mitigate the damage from the whooping that he took. There are 18 Mutas on the map. That's enough to achieve that critical mass where their glaives pretty much one-shot anything they hit. But the more I watch pros use their Mutas, the more I become convinced that the real secret is how they maximize the Muta's regeneration. Mutas heal 3.5 times as fast as other Zerg units. So it's all about pulling them out of combat, healing them up, and putting them back in. These Phoenix are really good against the Mutas, but I bet that BA wishes he had +2 more range. He's just got no margin for error. The Zerg changes direction and they're on top of him. Oh, he's gonna see that Zerg's taking a 6th base. Roach speed is finishing up, and actually it's GogojOey who's got a transition going on. He is making roaches. He knows about the ground transition and he's showing it the respect it deserves. Oh, more than that, this is enough for an attack force, and he's walking up his queens. GogojOey maxes out and goes for a queen walk. This is good recognition by him. Even if all he does is trade, he'll come out ahead. Zerg's got a bank building, Protoss does not. And it's a big-time army lead for GogojOey. Those Phoenix are gonna have to go to work, but there's not really that many of them. And the queens are not gonna make it easy. Oh, he transfuses the roach getting killed in the air. It survived, it made it back down on the ground. That was very cool. There should be an achievement for that. Transfusing a unit caught in a gravimetric beam. Okay, but here comes the Zerg attack on the Protoss 3rd. Battery overcharge comes right out. Zerg pulls back to let it time out. ButAlways is going back to Void Rays. He's gonna need a lot of them. Zerg is keeping himself maxed. Really, GogojOey's just ratcheting up the Ravager count right now. Protoss trying to get more shield batteries. Duracell, don't fail me now. They might be built to last, but not built to withstand the caustic vials. Oh, the leftover Mutas are hitting the 4th. It's static defense only for the Protoss there. Oh, mass graviton! What a piece of art! Void Rays working in harmony with Phoenix. ButAlways is actually pushing this back. Oh, double bile hit right on the Void Rays. That was bad. Well, the shield batteries at the 4th are exhausted. Now those probes are gonna feel it. My report of Zerg getting pushed back is greatly exaggerated. It's the other way around. Zerg just keeps remaxing. The mutas are gonna get chased off, but not before all the probe kills have already happened. 34 dead workers. Protoss supplies half that of the Zerg. Things are looking really grim now. Nice composition and pretty upgrades are only gonna get you so far. The brute force macro potential of the Zerg is just too much at this point. Biles connect and the 3rd falls. The cybernetics core is gonna be next. That's the international sign for Protoss and big doo-doo. GogojOey's even getting an infestation pit back at home. He might be able to just A-key it from here. Zerg's pulling in double the amount of money right now. The production tab goes empty for ButAlways. His supply's down to 80. He might be looking for the G-key. Oh man, it's gotta hurt to abandon this series. He fought so hard. But the victory belongs to GogojOey. Well, this series is gonna make my best of list for 2021. So, Game 3 might have been a good game if it wasn't utterly eclipsed by Game 2 and Game 1. As a standalone, it was probably pretty decent, but unfortunately it's going to wind up a footnote. I also have a footnote. I belatedly realized that this video actually marks my 2nd anniversary for this channel. 2 years ago, I decided to find out if I'd get flamed off the internet if I dared to try to cast some games. I thought I'd do like 5 or 6 just to really see how hard it was. And yeah, it is really hard. I don't know how people do it on a daily basis. I really don't. But being able to interact with you guys has been more fun than I ever imagined. So thank you to all of you who've supported the channel. Whether you subscribed or left a comment, whatever you've done, I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to all you Canadians. And from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.